20 minutes of nonstop news begins with a day of service honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Volunteers around our region rolled up their sleeves and got to work today, from picking up trash to collecting food and school supplies and registering new voters. People in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware are giving back to honor his legacy. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jacqueline London. Despite the cold day, volunteers came out to spend their day off from work to help people and organizations in need. NBC 10's Francis Wang joins us live from East Falls with a look at the efforts in Philadelphia today. Francis.
Hey, Jackie. Well, we know the pandemic has affected nonprofit organizations, especially those that depend on volunteers in person. And that's why days like today are so important. Large numbers of volunteers coming out, and organizations like Share Food here, they got more volunteers than expected, but that's not the case for every organization. In a time of so much need, volunteers on this Martin Luther King Day hoping to fill the void and spent the day filling up these boxes. Once ready to go, more volunteers delivered those boxes of food directly to senior citizens in our area. Too cold to leave their homes, also burdened with COVID-19 concerns.
Definitely dangerous for them to be around, COVID. And then even getting to and from a store is difficult. Carrying the groceries is difficult. So in this way, providing them with, shelf-stable, staple items that will last a whole month, delivered directly to their door.
Robert Weinberg is a weekly volunteer, but those are harder to come by these days.
The need goes up and the supply of volunteers goes down. Food with all the shortages and the disruptions. So it's a very challenging time for everybody.
Especially challenging about a mile and a half away at the Cradles to Crayon warehouse. Volunteers sorted through these donations, cleaned up shoes and other items for children in need. Dropped off by people and groups like the Tauette Club of the Tau Gamma Delta Sorority Philadelphia chapter.
We want to give back to the community, and that's one of our mission statements. In our as a sorority, that's one of our mission statements. So we try to instill that in our girls, that it's important to give back to your community.
These three sisters, all just 4 years apart, trying to instill a sense of service in each other.
And I'm trying to get my sisters to get into it. It's really nice, that they're not on their computers all day and they're out doing something else.
For volunteers, this MLK Day is a reminder to be grateful and to do more for others.
Always happy when we have a day off, use the time effectively and be able to give back, especially on a day as important as MLK Day.
And while organizations say they are grateful for the extra boost in volunteers today, they hope that in the spirit of MLK and this day of giving, that those volunteer efforts will continue throughout the year, because that's what's really needed to move the needle. Jackie, back to you.
And we want to give a warm NBC 10 welcome to Francis Wang. Francis, it's so good to have you here. Your first day on the air, coming to us from Miami. Look, I know the weather's been crazy the last couple days. I promise it's not always like this. How are you adjusting?
Well, I love the energy. I love the spirit here. I love the pride, and I love how much people love the area and love to tell me about their love for this area. I can't wait to get to know everyone, our community, and I think I thrive in beanie weather, so I think I'm adjusting okay.
You're rocking that beanie. Looking amazing. Francis, thank you. So good to have you. We do want to tell you this. The nation's oldest and largest Dr. Martin Luther King Day of Service event is tackling health and racial justice in Philadelphia. Girard College served as the signature project site today for COVID testing and vaccination. It was 1 year ago today that the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium gave their first COVID shot in North Philly. Dr. Ayla Stanford tells NBC 10 it wasn't easy because many people thought Black and brown people did not want to get vaccinated.
So I had to fight for that and advocate to get it behind closed doors for that to happen. And that's how Philadelphia became the #1 city in the United States, reported by Bloomberg, to have the highest percentage of African Americans vaccinated.
Today's event included a health and wellness fair along with plenty of educational activities for kids to learn more about Dr. King's legacy. People who live in Delaware County joined forces to help families in need on this day of service. The Haverford Education Foundation teamed up with the township for a food supply drive. People stopped by the middle school in Havertown all morning. They dropped off non-perishable food and other supplies for several local organizations that support families in need.